So yeah, we've just been having a ton of growth, and I love seeing all the new people being added to the page every day, and just how you guys are just continuing to share this gift of Arbonne. So this is our Sunday team huddle. It is March 24th, and super glad that we have Lori Huffman on. She is the other VP. I know she has been not feeling her best this week, but you're looking better, Lori. You're looking better. So just excited to have everybody on. I'm glad that, Lori, you've been able to join in tonight. So what we are going to do is so every week when we have our huddles, sometimes we have like inspiration, sometimes we have training, sometimes we have somebody, a VP that gets on and they share their story. So depending on what we need as a team, where we are in our businesses and where we are in our month, these huddles will have a little bit of a different tune. I just kind of want to give you guys a heads up that tonight we are going to be talking about how we're going to handle the next 8 days of close, or next 7 days, however you count them. Because by this time, next Sunday, we are going to be closing out what I believe will be the biggest month this team has ever seen, which is super exciting. So as I was thinking about and preparing for tonight's call, I really felt like it was valuable for us to have a clear picture of what does it look like to maximize close week? What difference does it make? Why is it important? Why is this week, why do we treat this week differently than we're going to treat all of the other weeks in our businesses? And so if you want to take notes, you can absolutely do that. I have kind of 4 big buckets that we're going to talk about, and then I've got details for each of those. If you want to just listen to this again tomorrow, I'll have the recording up, and you can get that information there. But I would say, as you're listening to these calls, whether you are fully locked in and you're like, I've got my laptop and I'm ready to go, whether you are sitting on the couch and the basketball game's on and you're just gonna, kind of listen from your phone, I would say have a listening ear for the things that you're like, okay, I need to do that, or that's where my goals are. Because here's the thing, you guys, anytime you're growing this business, your goals and your effort have to match. And at any time, you can change one or the other, but when you change one or the other has to change. Okay? So what that means is, if you decide, and we're going to talk about this, that you're unwilling to renegotiate your goal, and you have a big goal in front of you that is going to require a lot of effort between now and the end of this month, then I'm going to tell you, you need to be fully locked into this call. And you need to be taking as many nuggets and points and understanding how we're going to maximize this week. If you're like, I'm on this call because I just love the community and I love these gals and these guys, and it's just like a really fun thing for me to be a part of, and you don't maybe have some really clear or big goals you're going for this week, then you can just kind of like passively listen. It's totally fine. We love you where you're at. And I never want people to feel like, because I feel like I get on these Sunday night calls and I'm always a little amped up. And I'm always kind of like high octane. And then I get off and I'm like, oh my gosh, I hope I didn't scare away like some new consultants. But I just want to tell you guys that I'm passionate, because as I think about this team, as I pray for your businesses, as my vision enlarges for what is possible for you, it does fire me up. And there's a couple gals on the team, or Melissa Bates on the team, and I'm hoping, I think, a new gal that's signing up. I literally got the opportunity to like fly into a house, share with them kind of why Arbonne, why now, and the vision in 15 minutes. And literally I was like, I think I might just have set that place on fire, because it was just so intense in a short amount of time. But that's where my passion level is, you guys. We are not called to live less than. We're not called to live in any sort of lack. And you can have lack in your life, in your finances, in your business, in relationships. You can be experiencing lack, but lack is not the design, okay? And so I feel like it's really important in our businesses that we position ourselves for great expectations. And so that's what I want to bring to us on these calls. So we are going to talk tonight about what our close week strategy is going to look like. We will not, as a heads up, we will not be having a huddle call next Sunday. Because next Sunday at this time, we are going to be all in the trenches, putting in orders, throwing back the fizz, and getting the job done. Okay, so we will have a huddle, or I will have probably like a Facebook live the next day, but we will not be on as a team huddle in this format next Sunday, because we are going to be working the close. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about the vision as we kick off close week. Okay, so we collectively set out at the beginning of March to make it a March full of madness and to smash all of the goals that we've ever set before. When you guys sent me your goals, or you sent your upline your goals, or you posted them somewhere on Facebook, cumulatively, it equals the largest month we've ever had as a team. All of you all set goals that were set to cause increase or to cause growth in your business, okay? So what I want to tell you tonight, because whether you're new in Arbonne or maybe you're new to setting goals, there's a couple things you need to know. The first thing that you need to know is that if your goal feels out of reach right now, you have set the right goal. And I remember when ENVP Lisa Voorhees talked about this on a call years and years ago, and I was like, she's crazy. That's dumb. Like, I should be able to see my goal at this point. I'm 7 days out. And she was adamant, and she has unwavered in the belief, because it is true, that if your goal is beyond what you can actually see coming in, it is the right goal. Goals are designed not to paralyze us, but they are designed to stretch us. They are designed to create in us the belief that we are going to push past what we can see with our eyes. Okay? So if you are in that place, know that you have set the right goal. But again, if that's what the goal is and that's what you're committed to, you've got to support it with the effort. You can't say, well, Missy, I've got a goal of area qual. I can't see how I'm going to do this, but I'm checking out for the next 4 days because I'm heading to Disney World and I don't plan to work my business because it's just not what I want to be doing. You know, I've gone to Disney World and still worked my business. Amy Gill, I know, just finished up a week at Disneyland and still worked her business. I'm not saying that that's a better way to do this. I'm just saying the goals and the effort have to match, okay? So if you are finding in yourself in this place of like, gosh, my goal seems beyond what I can really see, know that you're in a good place, and we're going to create the effort, or you're going to create the effort to match that goal. If you can see your goal, if you're in a place right now and you're like, actually, I can see the goal, like I can see the 1,000 or the 2,000 I need, or I can see the 5 or 10,000 that I need, I can see kind of almost exactly where it's going to come in, I'm going to encourage you that you need to stretch that goal and you need to go further. And even if the further doesn't change a qualification or a promotion this month, it is always for your benefit to end your month as far along as possible. Because how you end your month is how you set yourself up for the next month. So if the example is, scenario is, if you are like, I'm $1,000 from finishing district manager, I can see that. That would end me at like 3,700. I can see that being possible. I know where this 1,000 is going to come in. Then I'm going to really coach you to stretch your goal to 5,000. Don't just stretch it to what you can see, but even go past. And I get it. 5,000 as a consultant, you're not getting a district bonus. There's really nothing extra that you're going to particularly receive. Your paycheck will be bigger, but what you're doing is you're stretching that belief, you're growing that belief, so you can end this month saying, not only did I finish district, I went halfway to area. And you end further along, which means you get to start next month further along, okay? So that's where we're gonna be as a team, because that we are people that keep our word to ourselves. If we're going to be people that keep our word to other people, we sure as heck have to start with keeping our word to ourselves, and keeping our word to our goals is what we're going to do. So where are we as a team? Here's point number 2. Where are we as a team is we are over halfway to nation. Okay. So what does that mean? It means that I, as kind of mama bear of this group, is unwilling to renegotiate these goals. I'm unwilling to renegotiate them. And I will tell you, I'm in this place that I talked about 30 seconds ago of I don't really see where this other chunk is going to come in. I know it's there and I know it can be done, but I don't necessarily see it. So this goal is stretching this belief that I have. Okay, but I am unwilling to shrink back. I'm unwilling to believe for anything else. And here is why. And here is why you as a leader, and even if you are a leader of one and you're like, Missy, when you talk about a leader, I don't have any team yet. Nobody has said yes to my business, right? Well, we don't get to lead other people until we start leading ourselves. And that's not to say if you don't have people on your team, you're not doing a good job of leading yourselves. I'm just saying leadership always starts with who's in the mirror. And we are in the mirror, right? So the reason that we are going to be unwilling to renegotiate these goals is because if you start to renegotiate your goals, it means you're willing to believe less than for everybody that's behind you and everybody on your team that has a goal. And if you say, I know I said 10,000, but now I'm not so sure we can hit it. So I'm going to kind of backpedal here a little bit and I'm going to renegotiate because it feels a little bit more comfortable. You're telling everybody that is connected to you on your team that they have to lower their goal. And we don't get a right to do that. I don't get the right to come into any one of your all's businesses and say, I don't believe that what I thought at the beginning is possible for you is now possible. I don't get to say that. That's not loving, okay? And you don't get to say that either. So we are going to be unwilling because I'm not lowering and I'm not lessening what I believe is possible for you. What kind of a leader would I be if I got on here on a Sunday night huddle and I was like, well, guys, I know I said we could do big goals, but we're just going to shrink it back a little bit. We're not going to do that. But I want you to understand that you have a part to play in this. And we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so here's what we're going to do over these next 7 to 8 days. And I say 8 days because I feel like somehow magically there's always an extra 12 to 24 hours that gets thrown into this week because so much happens in this week. It's just amazing. So the first thing is you are going to decide that you're not going to renegotiate your goal. And the way that we're going to do that is you're going to start putting up some signs up around your house. And you're going to start telling yourself what to think this week if you don't currently have those signs up. I have a sign that hangs over my sink right now, and it says, I will walk the stage as a new national vice president on May 17th, 2019. Okay? I'm telling myself what to believe. I have that sign actually posted on the ceiling above where I sleep, so that when I'm laying on my bed or when I wake up in the morning, I'm telling myself what to think. And here, you guys, is what's crazy. My 11-year-old put up a sign without me even knowing above her bed that says, pray for mom and the team to promote to national vice president by GTC. I didn't ask her to do that. I didn't tell her to do that. I didn't even know that she saw my sign. But what we do, it creates belief and hope and goals in other people, okay? So whether or not you have kids, that's irrelevant. You're being an example to people, and people are watching what we're doing. So we're going to decide that we're going to not renegotiate those goals, okay? You sent them to me. Like I said, you sent them to an upline. You post them somewhere on the Facebook team. And now is the time to stick your stake in the ground and be relentless in the pursuit of that goal. Okay. Remember, it was, I think, 2 weeks ago that we talked about being a little bit obsessed with your Arbonne business and being very intentional and kind of hyper focused. We're going to have these seasons of unbalance, and these next 7 days, if you choose, are going to be that season of some unbalance in your business. Okay. Second thing is you need to make time to work this week. We talk all the time about this business can be done in the nooks and cranny time. This business can require 10 to 15 hours a week. And that absolutely is true. But this is a time that you actually have to put in that time. You can't talk about putting that time. You actually have to carve out that time. I started doing that last week because these goals are so big that I am personally working on, and I'm partnering with you guys to personally work on. And so what that looked like, you guys, is I just got more babysitter time. That might be your case. It might not be your case. But you have to say no to a few things so you have time to say yes to the right things for this week. You're going to get invited to things, and you're just going to have to politely decline if you want. If you're like, Missy, I was that person that you said, like, oh, I'm just here for the community and the fun, and like, I'm watching the basketball game while you talk. You don't have to say no to things. But if you've got some goals and you have goals that are timelined to happen before GTC, you're going to have to say no to some things. You might have to say no to a girls' night out or a movie night, or switch around some things, or get up a little bit early, or stay up a little bit later, or get a babysitter to come over, or make your kids do the dishes or the laundry this week, or whatever those things are, so that, again, you guys, this is temporary exchanges of time, so that you can say yes to having the time to do these right things in your business. Because guess what? Sending out text messages takes time, right, Edie? It takes time. Like her and I talked about, like, oh my gosh, like your wrists are going to get sore from sending out messages sometimes when you're doing this business. You might feel like, I have been sitting on my butt for 2 hours sending out messages or following up or emails or whatever. That's just sometimes the sacrifice, let's talk, real sacrifices of this business, okay? The third thing is, and I know this is going to sound funny, but it's totally true. You got to make sure you got enough fizzies and greens this week, because you're going to be a little bit more tired. So what'll be the tendency is, when we're tired, what do we want to do? We want to give in to sleep. And I'm just speaking from experience. When we're tired, we want to give in to sleep. When we're tired, we get more discouraged. When we're physically tired, doubt creeps in. And if you haven't listened to that call that I posted yesterday about from Jerry Roisentool about doubt, I really encourage you to listen to it. He is yelling with love, like, be prepared for 30 minutes of a guy yelling. He really, like, that's how he trains. He yells. And it's almost funny because you're like, you're yelling the whole time. But it's so good. And he just talks about doubt. But our physical fatigue can easily open the door to discouragement, to doubt, to unbelief, to laying down the business too quickly, to giving into Netflix, to, all those things. So when I'm saying make sure you're stocked up on your greens and your fizzies, that's actually like a business strategy I'm giving you. Okay, because you're going to be working a little bit harder. You're going to need to be a little bit braver this week, and you're going to work with some more intentionality and maybe focus. Okay. The last thing I need you to understand, what we're going to do in these next 8 days, is realize that you can accomplish more in these last 8 days than you have in the previous 22. And if you haven't been in Arbonne very long, that is hard to believe, but I'm going to ask you in this sentence to just trust me, to just blindly trust me that what you and your team, and again, your team might be you flying solo right now, can accomplish more in these next 8 days, 7 days, than you accomplished previously this month in total. I've been in this business long enough to tell you that this is in fact a truth, okay? Your business has absolutely the capacity to double or even triple this week, okay? So here's how we're gonna spend our time this week. First thing that we're going to do is we're going to follow up some more. Follow up is the fortune is in the follow up. When the very first Arbonne training that I ever went to, they said the fortune is in the follow up. And that was a golden nugget, because it is so true. There are people in my business that are in my business because I was willing to follow rabbit trails. I'm going to give you an example. Amy Gill is an area manager working towards regional vice president in my business right now. She came into the team about 18 months ago. She got connected to my team from her friend, Tracy, who called her to let us do an overview with her. I met Tracy 7 years prior. Tracy was the guest at one Arbonne party that I drove 3 hours with a consultant who's no longer active in the business but still uses the products. We drove to Western Kentucky and did one party with the hostess. I think there were 3 guests there, and Tracy was a guest. Okay? I kept in contact, I Facebook friended her. I kept in very casual relationship with Tracy, but pretty consistently, twice a year, she loved the primer and she loved a couple other products. And then she caught the vision for the business, was willing to become a consultant, and that led to an overview with Amy, which now has led to the St. Louis team. Okay, rabbit trails, you guys, rabbit trails. So we're following up and we're following every rabbit trail. Do not decide for someone that they're off the table to follow up with. Okay, the only people that I have ever been like, oh, I'm not going to follow up with them, is people who are like really mean and just gross, yucky people. I'm not going to waste my time on them this week. I don't have time for that, okay? But what I do have time for is all the people that I've sent text messages to who have ghosted me or not responded. And I will tell you guys, if you didn't this past week try the voice memo, voice texting, I would highly recommend it. I have gotten such a good response. I had a gal, so Lori, I didn't get to tell you this. Lori and I and Linda went out for lunch celebrating Lori probably a month or 2 ago. Waitress, doll of a gal, super great. We connected up on Facebook. She's like, yeah, I'd love to hear about Arbonne. Sent her a message. Crickets. Sent her a message. No response. Sent her a message. Crickets. I'm like, I'm going to send this girl a voice memo. She's great. I'm unwilling to let go of the potential that she has. Sent her a voice memo. Within 30 seconds, she responds back, oh my gosh, I don't know how I didn't see all your other messages. Yes, I'm still interested. Okay? So it may or may not always lead to things like that, but they hear your excitement. They hear your conviction. They hear your courage. If nothing else, it's just courageous. And they hear that, okay? So ask again. Just be willing to ask again. Humble yourself. Stop being prideful. Stop being like, well, I asked this girl 5 times and she hasn't responded. Get over it. Do you want your pride, or do you want to grow your business and have a growing paycheck? Because that's what this comes down to often. Many times we're stuck in our pride of like, well, I asked her, and if she wanted this, she would let me know. I'm not going to grovel. I'm not going to like beg people to join my Arbonne business. We're not begging them. They just don't care. And we have to keep presenting it like the person at McDonald's that keeps, do you think the person at McDonald's keeps getting offended when people are like, nope, I don't want to supersize. Nope. They just keep, it's like the lady at the, Perkins or the Waffle House. She just keeps coming by. Would you like some more coffee? Would you like some more coffee? Right? Every time you might say yes, every time or 2 times you might say no, but you just keep asking and offering it. You text again, you invite again. Or here's what you need to know. Debbie Neal, who we all love and we're all inspired by her, and we're like, man, she's amazing. Do you guys realize she signed up on the 28th of the month? And by the end of that month, she signed up on May 28th. And by the end of that month, she was a district manager. And 90 days later, she was a regional vice president. And 6 months later, she was a national vice president. Are you willing to believe that your first VP leg or your next ace could sign up into your business this week? If you're willing to ask again and keep doing the follow-up and keep following all of those rabbit trails, okay? Sorry. Okay, so next thing that you're going to do is you're going to make sure you have a clear, as best as you can, picture of what you have left to accomplish. You got to know your numbers, okay? You got to know your numbers. If you don't know the numbers, you need to go on the source. And as a business owner, you got to read policies and procedures. You guys got to learn the numbers. There are certain numbers that you need to promote to district. You got to start with 1,000 PQV or a team success line of 2,500. You've got to end on 2,500, okay? You have to kind of know some of those things, and don't just assume that your upline is going to be telling you all these things. We're in business by ourselves, or for ourselves, we're not by ourselves, but you're also responsible for your own business, okay? So if you don't know the numbers, make sure that you know your numbers. But then you're gonna break down those numbers, see what you have left, see, okay, this is who I know is gonna come on board with a nutrition kit, or this is who is signing up, or this is, I've got these reorders, and start to kind of put the puzzle, the pieces together of, okay, so I've got $1,000 left, or I've got $2,000 left, and I can see where $750 of it is coming from. Well, then we start to figure out, well, where's this other 500 going to come from? Or where's this other 2,000 going to come from? And we start to then make some strategies and some plans to get that remaining number in, okay? But as a business owner, you need to be responsible for your business and not just be like, well, my upline didn't tell me, right? We're here to help you guys, but everybody's an independent business owner, and so you want to have a clear understanding of that. If you don't, definitely feel free to ask your upline. We want to partner with you. We want to help you. We don't want you to feel confused or spend the next 72 hours trying to figure this out. But at the same time, you're a business owner. It's kind of like knowing the books of your business. It's the same thing with this. Okay. Third thing is you're going to need this week to balance attention, not attention, but attention. There's a tension point that comes in this week. And the tension point of this week is you stay all in for March, like 100% focus. There's no day after March 31st. Like that is end of the world. It is March 31st. That's one focus that you have. The other focus is you start booking April. And you're like, but you just told us to stay in March. You do. You stay all in March and you start booking April all at the same time. And that's the tension. But when you start booking March, you don't take on the mentality of, well, next month I'm going to hit my goal. Well, next month, because I've got such and such and such and such and such, next month is going to be my goal. And here's what I'm going to tell you guys. And I've said this before, and it's, I am saying it with love, but next month mentality will always kill a business and will never cause a business to grow. Because next month mentality is believing that something is going to change simply because there's a new name to the month. The only thing that's going to ever change our businesses is what we decide to do today. So next monthing a business is going to put you in this perpetual state of next month in your business. Okay? So we don't want to do that. But we do want to keep this tension of I'm all in for March. I'm not even thinking about April, but I'm booking up April. Does that make sense? And I'm getting people to book parties with me. I'm getting people to look at these videos. I'm following up with people. I'm making coffee appointments. So I'm all into March and I'm not thinking about April, but I'm booking up April. Does that make sense? And that's the tension that is there. And if you don't understand that, comment and I can hopefully make some better analogies for you on that. Okay, and then the last thing is, this is a week that you're going to work till the very end. You're going to work till the very end. One of the things that I want you to understand is that you are a part of a team. You are part of a network. And we operate on the principle of we do unto others as we want done unto us, meaning every order counts. Do not hold back any order. Any order. I can tell you that one of the things that most just kind of hurts my heart is when I wake up on the first of a month and someone has put in a $700 order, because I know they had that order the night before, but they were holding it because they didn't see that they could accomplish their goals. Instead of putting the order in and not operating from a scarcity mentality, they held it back, and then they decided to put it in on the 1st at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can have orders by noon on the 1st. That happens to me all the time. But I know when someone puts in a large order first thing in the morning, more than likely they had it the night before. But they were unwilling to put that order in because it didn't serve their business in that month. And what you need to understand is that this is a network marketing business. okay? And one day, right now, you might think, well, I don't know if my order really matters. It does, because here's what, our orders impact Linda. Our orders impact Deanna. Our orders actually impact Donna Johnson, who has been in Arbonne a long, long time. She was the first national vice president in Arbonne. She's amazing, right? And it's a principle of sewing into our businesses, because one day you're going to be a national vice president. One day you're going to be working to qualify for a region. One day you're going to be wanting to complete your area promotion. And many times, you guys, it's those $500 or $1,000 orders or $250 orders or $60 orders that make a huge, huge difference. Okay? So the other part of holding orders is that you are buying into a scarcity mentality. When we ever hold orders, we are buying into a scarcity mentality that there's not going to be enough for next month. And that's just a lie, and it perpetuates that throughout your business, because if your team sees you holding orders, what happens? It creates a domino effect, and they hold orders, right? What a leader allows in moderation, the team will allow in excess. And so you'll find yourself, if you do this, if you're like, I know what Missy said, but I'm not going to believe her, and I'm going to be a little bit stubborn on this or uncoachable, and I'm going to hold my orders. What you're going to find is, as you're building a team, you're going to find a team that stops putting in orders come the 27th of the month, because they're like, well, we're all going to hold our orders and next month's going to be better. And you guys already heard me say what happens when you live in this next month mentality, right? Okay, so every order matters. We don't hold any orders back. The other thing, and this is probably going to be new if you are new in Arbonne, and this is some of that stuff that I'm just going to ask you guys to trust us on. Like, this is part of that learning curve that might have the question marks around it, and you're like, I don't really understand why we're doing this, or what are they doing so late at night? Why are they having closed night parties? Like, what are they doing till midnight? Are they really calling people to put orders in? Like, what is happening, right? I'm going to ask you guys that you're going to work your business until the very last moment, okay? I'm going to ask you to not stop working by Saturday afternoon, because like, well, I reached out to everybody and I didn't hear back, and so I don't know, we're kind of good, or I hit my goal, I promoted to DM, or I qualified for area, so I'm there, so I'm just done, I'm good, I'm taking off, the next day and a half. Again, I cannot make anybody do anything. All I can explain to you is why we do what we do and why we're asking you to be a part of it. And successful people in Arbonne, people that are growing their Arbonne businesses, work until the very end, okay? It's a new way to work. I understand that if you don't understand it, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but just trust me in when I tell you that there is magic that happens in those last 24 to 48 hours if you keep your hand to your business, okay? So when you're looking at this week, if you don't have the weekend, like Saturday, Sunday, packed with a lot of stuff, it's wise to not plan anything and to keep that time open so you can be sitting and working or making calls or sending voice memos or following up with people. If you have this coming weekend jammed packed with a lot of things, then you got to find the time. And maybe you're going to put in a lot more time on Wednesday and Thursday. But it is just important that you work until the very end, because you never know what orders are going to come through. I can't tell you guys how many times I have people send me an order on a close night at 11 at night. Hey girl, so sorry I missed your order. I'm just heading to bed, seeing my phone. Woo, crazy. It's been a crazy day. Here's my credit card. Here's my order for my 2 RE9 sets. No, do I think it's normal that people shop that late at night? No, but they will respond if we keep asking, right? So we need to be the people that keep asking. And the only thing that is like, okay, we're done, is when we're done. You know, obviously I get it. By midnight, you're not still texting people and reaching out to them. What we're doing at that point is we're entering these orders that we were scooping in up until about 10:30 at night. Because don't forget, we're on Eastern time. We get the advantage of time zones. Okay, so 10 o'clock here is 9 o'clock Central time. Very appropriate to be reaching out to people. 8 o'clock Mountain time, 7 o'clock California time. Those people haven't thought one iota about going to bed. Okay, so you have to understand we get a little bit of that advantage if we're an East Coast time zone or even Central, because you get a little bit more ahead of the time. Okay, as Arbonne lets us close till midnight, right? Pacific time. Well, that's 1 in the morning on Central time. That's 2 in the morning on East Coast time. We get that extra time. I'm not calling people at 1 in the morning or sending them Facebook messages. What I'm doing is I'm entering the orders that I scooped in and followed up with people. Okay, and we're going to give you guys some ideas as we progress this week, as we see things. We might give you some recommendations from some individual incentives you might want to offer for your clients. We might offer some team suggestions. Okay, but again, and I think that I posted this, like offering people a little bit off their 30-day set has proven really successful. It has gotten me get people to reorder. It's just those extra little things that people want that helps them to respond to our reach outs and to our asks. So does anybody have questions about anything that I covered, anything that you might personally have as you're thinking about closing and what that looks like for you and your business? Or Lori, is there anything you want to touch on or mentioned? No, she's good.
I think you touched on it all. Yeah.
Okay. Any questions you guys have? You can type them in the comments or unmute. Okay, so if you're local, the last thing is tomorrow night we have our first detox dinner at 6 o'clock. I personally have gotten a really great response to it. I have people are like, that sounds fun. I mean, who doesn't want to come for a free dinner, right? So it's a great way to introduce people to the culture of Arbonne. It's a great way for them to hear a little bit about 30 days. If you're not local, you're like, Missy, why are you telling us this? It's kind of like rubbing our face in it. We don't have a detox dinner. You might not, but here's the thing. You can host a detox dinner in your home. Even if you're the only consultant in your area, host a detox dinner. Invite preferred clients over, invite neighbors over, and just share or show a little video. If you're like, well, I don't really want to talk about 30 days, show a little video. If you live in an area where there's more than one of you, gather up together. Do a detox dinner. Gather in a dorm room, do a detox dinner. There's all kinds of ways that you guys can use the ideas that we're passing on to you and modify them for where you are or what your situation looks like. Don't ever buy into the fact that you can't do something, right? We really work to keep this business simple so that what we're sharing, that we're doing, everybody can do. You keep it at a simple common denominator. Everybody can grill some chicken and put some broccoli in the oven, call it a detox dinner, and invite a few friends over, right? We all can do that. That's very, very simple. So is there anything else, Lori, that you want me to cover before we close this out for tonight?
Nope. Close week is it.
It's exciting. It's so exciting. And here's the thing. It's super focused, but if you're like, oh my gosh, are these ladies like not living their life for the next 7 days because of their Arbonne business? No, I'm still doing all my normal things. I'm still doing all the things with my kids. I'm still doing all the things that I need to get done. But this is a week that this is on a need to do basis. And there are a lot of things in our life that we can shift for a few days that are not on the need to do basis, right? Like run to Hobby Lobby and pick new pillows for your couch. That doesn't need to happen this week, right? Organize a closet in your bathroom. That doesn't need to happen this week. You can do that on the first week of April. We don't do that this week. Those are the things we shift because it is close week, okay? You can still have your job. You can still have your family. You can still do all those things. But this is a week that we shift the priority and the intentionality and the focus to doing what we said in a lot of excitement on March 1st. We said we were going to do. This is when we show up and we prove that we're going to do what we said we were going to do. Okay? All right. Love you all so much. Hope you were encouraged, inspired. Can't wait to see what we accomplish in these next 7 days. It's going to be awesome. Cannot wait. All right. Love you all so much. Have a good night.